Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Bassplay 12, or Mitch as you guys know me. Today's video, I'm just gonna kind of throw it out to worship bass players, and I guess to anybody who's on the worship team on a Sunday morning. What are some things to kind of look out for and to kind of set your mind straight, your heart straight, and your spirit straight before you head to Sunday morning? I don't know if you guys practice before you have your Sunday morning set. But I'm heading to Sunday morning setup right now, and so this is just something on my mind for anybody on the worship team to just kind of look out for and be aware of. First of all, my dad always said, because he knew that I played on the worship team when I was 16 years old, he said, Mitch, always be careful, because the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And he would more than love to kill, steal, and destroy from your Sunday morning worship. And how can he do that? Just by having anybody on the worship team, but for bass players, I'm talking to you guys, to just have you have a bad, negative spirit. And who knows what that can stem from. That can stem from something that happened the night before, something that happened Sunday morning. So those negative issues can happen at any time, but Sunday morning, Saturday night usually are the prime targets there for the enemy to come in and destroy at least your Sunday morning, your attitude, and then that kind of permeates through the rest of the team. So my mindset is always, okay, let me make sure I'm right with God, make sure I'm right with the rest of the team members, so that way Sunday morning worship can be what God intended it to be. So what you can control is how you are handling team members, and usually that might be the worship leader. And I've done worship long enough where I know that issues can arise where the worship leader wants something done a certain way, and maybe you as the bass player, you're not hitting that quite perfectly, and there can be some friction that way, where he or she might stop the set and go, that's not the right note, we're not doing this correctly. And that's where something can creep in, where your attitude now is, gee, I'm just volunteering, and your attitude might be, well, what's going on here? Why is he or she picking on me? And that's where some negativity can come in and blow up your whole Sunday morning worship. So I usually come with an attitude of, hey, the worship leader's there. The worship leader has control. The worship leader is the quarterback. And my attitude is one of stepping back and getting rid of pride and saying, you know what, I don't care how long I've been doing this. I don't care if the worship leader's younger than I am. I'm going to put my pride aside, and if there's something not right, I'm going to own it and say, my bad, I'll get it right this time. Just so that my pride doesn't get in the way of Sunday morning worship, where I don't have this bad attitude where I'm like, hey, he or she can't tell me, what I'm doing is wrong. I feel like it's right. And that's usually the number one issue that I used to struggle with before. And that used to ruin some Sunday mornings for myself. And, as worship leaders, we're supposed to be the ones ushering in worship to the rest of the congregation. So you can kind of see the ripple effect here. If the enemy can get to me or anybody else in the rest of the team, it kind of permeates and the ripple goes out to the rest of the congregation, where things do seem to get messed up, where Sunday morning just kind of blows up, and it just can get bad from there. So another thing also is to just come as best as you can prepared. I know sometimes I had the set list. I knew what I had to practice, but the week got busy. Saturday night gets busy, and you wake up, you're tired on a Sunday morning, and you're not fully prepared, and the songs get messed up, the timing's off, you don't know the way the song is supposed to go. And so I would also say try to be as prepared as you can, so that way you know the difference between those Sunday mornings when things flow really wonderfully and the times where it's just a giant train wreck. And we want to try to avoid those train wrecks as best we can. And usually those train wrecks come when one or two or the whole team just isn't prepared and things fall apart from there. So, your Sunday morning worship is a very delicate thing. And there are some things, that we can't control that can happen. You get in your car and the car doesn't start. Can't control that. But we can control our attitude. We can control our heart as far as how we look at things and approach things. So my advice to you this morning, and for Sunday mornings when you're driving like I am to practice, is to just, if you need to, sit down before you leave and just say, God, whatever happens this morning, I am a servant to you. I release my pride. I release any type of attitude that I might have that makes the Sunday morning worship negative. The worship leader can tell me anything, and I will surrender any feelings of pride, surrender any feelings of, hey, wait, I'm just volunteering. They can't talk to me like this. The enemy would love to come in and start putting those thoughts into your mind, where now you have this giant chip on your shoulder, and whatever the worship leader says is now taken with, hey, wait, what do they mean by that? Or what, are they trying to say I don't play very well, and that you can feel unappreciated and things like that? So see if you can surrender those feelings, so that way you can truly walk into Sunday morning worship feeling like, I'm ready, I'm here to serve God. If the worship leader tells me to do this, change this, I'm taking it as that's the way God wants it to be. And that's a tough thing, because we all as musicians feel like we want to be appreciated, we want to be respected. And if some of you are thinking, hey, Mitch, bass play 12, sometimes my worship leader talks to me like I'm not, they don't respect me and I'm underappreciated. And that can happen, totally can happen. But that's where I feel we need to step back and, give that to God. If you need to grab your worship leader and pull them over before, or, when that happens, just like you would your spouse or a friend, and say, you know what, I'm having an issue with what you said. Can we work this out? Because, the longer you let that sit and fester, like a infected cut, it can just get worse and worse and worse, and, things don't get better. So if you do have issues where, a worship leader you feel isn't respecting you, you feel unappreciated, I would say go and talk to them as soon as possible, so that way, like you would a family vacation, you can enjoy it rather than, oh, this really stinks, I don't feel right, there's tension between us, and it just gets weird and awkward from there. So hopefully you guys can have a great Sunday morning worship. I'm almost at church, by the way. So it's a really special time when you and the whole entire worship team can come together, and it feels like, wow, that was just amazing. How did that happen? And that's God orchestrating everybody to, become that team as one to make it all happen Sunday morning. Okay, guys, I'm going to get ready to park and go into Sunday morning worship. My blessings and my prayers go to all of you that volunteer your time to play on Sunday mornings. I know right now it's a little bit past 7 o'clock, and you're right. We could be sleeping, we could be doing other things, but we do volunteer our time, and we don't do this for anything other than giving God glory, making sure that people can worship on Sunday mornings and have that opportunity, and we are ushering everybody into that spirit of worship. So kudos to you guys. Whoa, sun very bright. Kudos to you guys for volunteering your time, all the effort you put in, all the practice you put in. It usually, you can tell on Sunday morning who put in the time, who put in the effort, and it's really wonderful when it all comes together and everybody's efforts come to glorify God. Okay, guys, I'm ready to park. I am Bassplay 12, or Mitch as you guys know me. Have a great Sunday morning. God bless you.